Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am Kelly Hyde, freelance makeup artist for the last 20 years, and recently I have become a Saint Beauty artist. Today, this video is going to be geared towards the hooded eye. Just gonna give you some tips and tricks on the ways to kind of enhance your eye when you have a hooded eye shape, and we're gonna get started. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, so I wanna give you just a quick overview of a hooded eye first and kind of tell you the concepts behind applying eyeshadow for a hooded eye. So a hooded eye is when your crease here starts to drop down and come over the lid so that you essentially cannot see any of your lid here or a very little sliver. Some people are born with an eye shape like that, and I think it is like just kind of sultry and sexy. And other people, however, as we age, we just start to lose the elasticity in this area here, and it just starts to kind of drop or hang. So it means that we essentially have to kind of change the way we do our eyeshadow. And I just want to guide you through some of my basic principles for doing that. So my first step is we're going to put some eyeshadow here in the crease, and it's only going to be matte. If you put a shimmer in the crease, it's going to be really reflective and it's going to stand out more. What we are trying to do is get this part to essentially look like it's receding. So we put darkness on things that we want to recede and lightness on it that we want to bring forward and open up. So we are going to use a mid-tone matte brown. And so either one of these would be fine. I'm going to use Bubba. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to tap into it. Just tap off. And the key to doing your eyeshadow when you have a hooded eye is to keep your eye open. A lot of people close their eye and they'll work in that crease, and then as soon as they open it, they can't see it. You need to really see when you have a hooded eye shape where you're applying it very specifically. So we keep the eye open and we look straight into the mirror, okay? And we're going to apply it in what I call the windshield. We're just gonna go back and forth in this area. Now, let's be real, I don't actually have a hooded eye, but I'm just pretending here on, camera for you guys. So you would keep looking right dead ahead into the mirror, and you're just gonna apply, and you're gonna bring it up. You just don't wanna be all the way right here, right under the brow bone, but you can be pretty far up there, okay? And I also want you to bring it out a little bit. We don't want our shadow to kind of stop right here because it shortens the eye. So we're just gonna bring it out. We also don't want this tone to be too dark because we don't want it to get really heavy looking, but we want it to be deep enough that it kind of makes the area look like it's receding a little bit. So that is step one. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take a light shadow. This can be matte or shimmer, completely up to you. And it just should be light. This one is a little bit, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a little goldy. It's called Sabrina, or it can have more of a white or cream tone to it. A really pale lilac, a pale silvery, whatever works for you. And we're just gonna tap our finger into it. And we're gonna do this on the lid. So we do this because if we're following that rule about lightness, we want to open up the lid as much as we can. So we want to add the lightness there. See, you can already tell that I have more lid space showing. So we don't wanna do anything ever too dark on the lid there if you have a hooded eye, or too heavy. And you don't want it, if it's slightly shimmery, that's okay, but you don't want it to be super frosted. Okay, now for liner. I feel like this is one of the most important parts when we're talking about hooded eyes. You don't want to do a very heavy liner because again, just closes the eye in. But we don't want to avoid liner either because it can really help define the eye. So you got to find the balance. So what I suggest to people, and I suggest this to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, is using a eyeshadow, again, as your liner, and getting a brush like this. This is a Morphe brush, and I've worn the numbers off. But if you go to Ulta, you can find this brush and see how very skinny that is. And taking a shadow, I'm gonna be using this shade, it's called Coal. I'm going to spray my brush. If you don't have setting spray, then just get it wet. And what we're going to do is kind of tight line the eyes from the top. So we want to line the eyes, but we want it to be as thin as possible. I mean thin, 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 and right to the lash line. So you know how your eyelid comes down and then it kind of drops under, and that's where your lashes come out. You're going there, you're going to push it. And this is what I've told somebody recently, and they were like, oh my God, that's so much easier than drawing a line. Just push it up in that lash line, push it up in those roots, okay? Just make sure that all of your little hits connect. So you don't have to worry about trying to like be talented enough to maneuver like a full line. So let's try it. I'm gonna be looking in this mirror here. Just coming up right under those lashes. The great thing about this is when your eye, I'm going to show you in a second. Look at the difference between the two eyes. You can see how defined that is, but when I close my eye, you don't see a line because that's how close to the lash line it is. I've got to get it that close, okay? But don't let it drag all the way down here and make your eyes look sad, okay? Okay, so the final step in this whole process is lashes. So I'm big on lashes. Like, your lashes can make or break your look. And I don't think people are spending enough time on them. I mean, I'm telling you, first of all, if you have a hooded eye, the best thing you can do for yourself is get a lash serum. For somebody who has never tried a lash serum, I always say start with Grand Lash. And it's just a serum you put on every night when you go to bed. You just run it right along your lash line, and you have to be consistent with it. But if you're consistent with it, in 2 weeks, you'll notice the difference, and it will like transform your lashes. They'll be longer, they'll be fuller. And then I also say you have to properly curl your lashes, which I'm going to show you how right now. And then you need to use a lash primer and a mascara. So the mascara does not have to be expensive. The mascara I use is $4. But it makes a big difference because what we're doing is we're lifting that lash, which opens the eye crazy. But also if we can get them to stand up over our eyelid, we're kind of disguising that hood a little bit. We're kind of pushing it back. And like what you're noticing are the lashes and the beautiful eyes under it, not the skin that's like trying to force everything down. So lashes are big, 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 big if you have a hooded eye. Like, it will seriously transform the look. So we're gonna take our curler, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna squeeze. Oh, I got my bottom one. Now, we're not just gonna squeeze, we're gonna rotate it back. See how that is? And now we're gonna pump. Look at that. This is not my usual mascara, but I happen to grab it, and it's gonna have to work because I'm too lazy to go back in and find another one. And make sure you just hit those little bottom ones, okay? Just like that. Okay, so one final little tip that I have, and you don't have to do this, but it's just a little extra thing, is take a very light, shimmery white shade. This is called Unicorn, or sometimes I've even gotten things from like shimmery shades from my highlighter palettes or whatever, and done this. So we're just gonna take a little bit, we're just gonna put it on the very inner corner here, and a little bit through there. Again, it just gives, first of all, it's just pretty. And it just gives us a little bit more lightness to open and brighten up the eye. So That's it. That's all my tips and tricks for hooded eyes. If you have any other questions, please always reach out to me because I'd love to answer them.